But I feel that recently, the identity of this country is actually under assault at this point. And there's things about the country that need to improve, obviously, but we're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Politics has become so toxic and so contentious that decent people don't want to get in it. I mean, why would you? Problem is, though, then we get the people that we don't want in government. President Reagan said that freedom is never more than a generation away from extinction, and I don't want it to be my generation that allows that to happen.
Welcome, Patriots. And today you're going to hear a story that will ignite your heart with love for America. And let's dive into the incredible journey of Glenn Jacobs, better known as Kane from WWE, and how he went from superstar to a fierce defender of conservative values while the left tries to destroy the American dream. Are you going to discover this in the video now? So get ready for an incredible journey of a man who truly has his heart in America. And you won't believe how this icon is knocking out liberal agendas. So stop everything you're doing and come with me on this journey.
There's a lot of places around the world where you are born is where you will spend the rest of your life. And in our country, that's not the case. And we take that for granted. My name is Glenn Jacobs, also known as Kane, and this is my story. I grew up in rural northeast Missouri, close to a town called Bowling Green. Growing up, my family didn't have a whole lot because of Dad's military retirement. We always had a place to live and something to eat. But if the car broke down or some other unexpected expense came along like that, things get real tight. When I grew up, I knew that I didn't want to feel like my family was living paycheck to paycheck, despite working so hard, which is what my mom and dad did. I thought the professional sports was going to be my pathway to success. When I was a little kid, I wanted to play baseball for the St. Louis Baseball Cardinals, but that didn't happen. Ended up going to play basketball at Northeast Missouri State University. While I was there, I ended up switching sports to play football and looked like I had a career in front of me in the NFL, then blew out my knee in practice one day, and that unfortunately was pretty much the end of my football career. So I was looking for something to do with my life. I was working various jobs. I was a personal trainer. I worked at a group home for people with special needs, just doing whatever I could do to get by. It was during this time that one day, a friend and I were watching wrestling on TV. He said, we should try that. And I was like, yeah, that looks like fun. I mean, I look like those guys on TV. I'm a big, muscular guy. Still wanted to do something involving sports and athletics. Plus, my degree's in English, so I know about theater and drama. I'm big into just the good versus evil and all of those themes that we see running through classical literature. And there is a lot of that in wrestling. It's really all about storytelling. And I found a local group, very small, that gave us some training, just stuck with it, and eventually went to WWE in 1995. The way it works is you have a character, and there are certain constraints and a certain idea, but it's really up to you to flesh all of that out and to come up with everything from the moves that you're gonna do, to how you talk, to how you carry yourself. In 1997, there's a character called The Undertaker who's very iconic in WWE, the greatest gimmick ever. And they needed someone to work with him for a pay-per-view, to wrestle against him for a big event. Didn't have anybody. That's where they got the idea for the Kane character, which is the long-lost brother of The Undertaker, who's burnt in the fires, who wears a mask, and is really cool as far as the mythology behind the character. So the Kane character was created, and initially it was not going to be a big deal. WWE didn't think that Kane would be as big as he turned out to be. And my first couple characters were not great. It was not a good experience for the first couple years. If I didn't make it as Kane, that was going to be the end of my career. The very first night when I had my debut was in St. Louis, Missouri, and Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, who are both Hall of Famers and incredible performers, they'd had a tremendous match, and then Kane came out, and for 20 seconds, the entire audience had no idea quite what was going on. And it was the first time that since I'd been in WWE, that you get this just massive reaction. 20 seconds of being able to hear a pin drop in an arena of 15,000 people, it was like then the roof blew off. That was really the first time I felt like a WWE superstar. Not too long after that, I won my first world championship, which is an awesome feeling. Traveled between 250 to 300 days a year. It was a very unique lifestyle. It can be hard on your family. I'm very fortunate. My wife is awesome. My daughters are awesome as well. But, we're in an industry where sometimes marriages don't last because you're just gone all the time, and that can be very difficult. I was very fortunate that wasn't the case with us. And then also, I was always really grounded. I never became like Kane. I became like a WWE superstar. So when people would meet me, they would think, oh my gosh, he's going to be a big, mean person, and they would always be surprised when, I'm not. And that's, I think, what happens a lot too, is people start believing their own hype and they get wrapped up, and I'm this, I'm better than everybody else. I'm a celebrity. I'm super cool, all these things. All that is fleeting and can go away in like a second.
Pay attention to this. Who exactly is exposing the truth that the left is trying to hide? America is still, yes, a land of opportunity. And while progressives try to convince us that America is an oppressive country, Graham comes to show that the American dream is more alive than ever. And that's why the left fears so many conservative voices like his. And from wrestler to political leader, know this transformation of who. That is indeed making liberals tremble.
So you have to stay grounded and you have to understand who you are, not this persona that's been created for the public, but who you are and what's important to you. When I think about the arc of my life, it's crazy. It shouldn't be possible. I think the reason for that is, in my case, I'm an American. There's a lot of places around the world, and I've been to some of them, where you are born is where you will spend the rest of your life. And in our country, that's not the case. And we take that for granted because we have freedom and we have liberty in this country. And we can take our God-given gifts and we can figure out what we're good at, what we like to do, and we can utilize those. They benefit other people and then they benefit us. But I feel that recently, the identity of this country is actually under assault at this point. And there's things about the country that need to improve, obviously, but we're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And to me, it's vitally important as someone who has experienced all that and been such a beneficiary of the freedom that we have here, that I make sure in what little way I can that my kids and my grandkids are also able to take advantage of that. And so that was the main motivation behind me getting involved in politics. I was always interested in government and politics, but I never saw myself in that capacity. And when Donald Trump won the presidency in 2016, I thought, okay, it looks like folks who are outsiders, who are not politicians, if Donald Trump can become president, certainly there might be a pathway for me here. So I ran for mayor of Knox County, Tennessee, and just decided to take the plunge. And here we are 6 years later, coming out of a career that I was already famous. I didn't need that. I did well, so don't need the money or anything like that. I just want to ensure that the American dream survives for another generation. We see a lot that, especially in Tennessee, our voter turnout will just drop if there's not a big federal race on the ballot. If it's just state and local races, it's like people they just don't want to say they don't care, but I don't think they understand how important state and local elections are. Politics.
Now look at the courage of who, really? Of exposing the inconvenient truth. The north of the country is under attack. And we're not talking about the ring, no. We're talking about the classrooms. In the media and in Washington, Jacobs understands that even though there is room for improvement, the truth is this. All that the radical left wants is to destroy everything. What makes America great? And it's time to fight, finally, against this destructive agenda. Final blow from who? It's against the deep state and how the former wrestler is revolutionizing local politics.
Become so toxic and so contentious that decent people don't want to get in. I mean, why would you? Problem is, though, then we get the people that we don't want in government. We need good people in politics. That's in government. That's just the fact of the matter. President Reagan said that freedom is never more than a generation away from extinction, and I don't want it to be my generation that allows that to happen. When I think about education, I believe that our education system should be geared towards exposing young people to as many different career paths as possible. I believe that what we've done, unfortunately, is we have a cookie cutter approach and we pigeonhole kids and say there's one pathway to success. Yeah, my story is not obviously the typical, I did this, then I got into this, and then this happened. It was a lot more of curveballs and things happening along the way. And in this country, you can create opportunities for yourself. I hurt my knee. I thought that was literally the end of my life. Nevertheless, I was able to figure out how to move forward. I was able to live my version of the American dream. Wrestling is hard. Politics can be hard as well. All too often, people are afraid to step outside of their comfort zone and they're afraid to fail. I've never been afraid to fail. I've unfortunately failed a lot of things, but I think that it's failure that really defines who you are. And also, if you're afraid to fail, if you're afraid to do something, you're never going to grow as a human being. You're just going to be stuck where you're at. Just get out there and start trying things. Eventually, you knock on enough doors, one of them is going to open. After all, America is still the land of opportunity. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. To keep PragerU videos free, please consider making a tax-deductible donation.
There you have indeed the wisdom of a true patriot. And who understands that political toxicity is a strategy of the left to drive conservatives away from government? Yeah, but he didn't back down, did he? He stepped into the arena to fight for our values. And it's a call for all of us. We need to follow Jacob's example and get us involved in local politics to save our nation. And it is very important that Glenn Jacob's message is very clear. The American dream is more alive than ever, but it does indeed need courageous and valiant brave defenders, such as you and me. And while the left tries to rewrite our stories of values, we need to do like those who fight on all fronts. Don't let the liberal narrative come and destroy our country. I invite you to subscribe to this channel, activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Please leave your like and come with me. Let's stand together in this battle for the soul of America. And we will undoubtedly show the world that the conservative spirit, indeed, is stronger than ever with Trump and determination. Thank you all very much. And until our next video,